Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So welcome to the What Buddha Dhamma Easter Retreat. Can't remember what the title we gave it was, but I was sitting there and I think maybe the theme of this long weekend retreat is going back to the same themes that I use a lot. Is still mind, happy mind. It is in the stillness that we find happiness and contentment. It's not in the doing, the moving, the managing. Although sometimes we live in a world that encourages the running around, the getting things. More is better. Hopefully people are starting to understand that more is just making you tired, making you stressed. That less is better. So this coming weekend, hopefully we're providing a good venue, good place, a lot of encouragement for people just to slow down to less and just enjoy the stillness of the forest. Enjoy moving away from the doing, the managing around us, and go into the stillness of the mind, the stillness of the present moment. And so as usual, you'll see that there is a schedule set up with the morning chanting, the breakfast, a bit of work, and as usual, it's posted in most different places, the sala and office, the usual stuff. The only thing, housekeeping rule I'm going to bring up is what I always bring up, is that with a room full of people, about 30-40 people, it's good to bring awareness into how we might affect others. So behave, move in a way that it doesn't cause ripples wherever you go. Go into a room quietly. Leave the room quietly. Do your chores in a way that is harmonious, peace. Not having too many weak ideas and opinions, just doing what's needed in a way that encourages harmonies and peace, in a way that brings stillness to your mind. So this weekend, the next few days, encourage people to offer to yourself and everybody around you the gift of silence, gift of peace, gift of stillness. You've done it. You made it here. That's where all the organizing, the arranging, the letting go happens. Now that you're here, really take the time to enjoy just being here. Got a great team of cooks coming all the way from Melbourne and Brisbane to bring you wonderful food. So you don't have to do anything, really. Accommodation is set, schedule is set. So it's time to relax, slow down, and just be with the forest, be with the body and mind of yours. See what things might come up, what things we're not paying attention to. Allow the body and the mind to process. sometimes the stressful way that we live our lives. So now's the time just to slow down, relax, and start to allow this process of doing to dissolve. Allow this sense of self, the wanting, the moving around, the managing, to start to fade away. Enjoy being a nobody, going nowhere. Not here to get your jhanas, not here to become enlightened. You're here to disappear. So as usual, like I said, you disappear by moving around in a way that doesn't cause any ripples. Doing what's needed to be done quietly, mindfully. And that's so much a part of the practice. So much of the forest tradition. It's not about a technique. It's not about going through the steps. It's a whole way of life, of living in peace and harmony within yourselves and the people around you, really. So when there are things to do, get together and we do it. When the work is done, hopefully we'll learn to drop it and still the mind. Go into this place of peace and quiet. Because we live in such busy life, busy world. I see a lot of people, you have your jobs, you have business to run, you have your family, your kids to look after. So it's a full plate. And it can be quite stressful at times. But hopefully we're learning to let go. We're learning to find ways to de-stress ourselves from time to time. To doing less, to practicing meditation, to celebrate contentment. Celebrate stillness and silence. And just more doing, more being, more having. We live in a world that encourages, extreme experiences. You haven't lived till you climb the mountains of Mount Everest. You haven't lived till you go to Antarctica or something. You haven't lived till you run around naked in Africa with the lions or something, I don't know. Something exotic. Something that you take pictures and send everywhere and get your likes. But really, the chant we just did, life is uncertain, death is certain. Whatever you do, however much you do, whatever we amassed, you're going to die and fade away, literally. Within 100 years' time, we'll all be 6 feet under the ground. So why not slow down? Why not enjoy the stillness of the present moment? Why not find ways to clear the mind? Do something that's more of lasting value as opposed to amassing things, material things, or even mental things. Because eventually, when you die, they all fade away. Usually much, much earlier than that. You have Alzheimer's disease, you can't remember anybody, anything that you've done. So it really doesn't matter what things that we're trying to amass. So hopefully you go back to the theme of still mind, happy mind. It is in the stillness, it is in the contentment that we find meaning in life. I know some of you might be thinking, yes, Bhante, you say that, but you're quite busy doing lots and lots of things. Going here, going there, you went to Kempsey, Brisbane, you're going to go somewhere else next month. Where's the stillness in that? It's still in this sense that when there's a choice, you move towards slowing down, letting go. But sometimes, out of compassion, you do more things. When there are things to be done, you move with the current. It's like stillness. What's that Ajahn thing? Thanks. Stillness flowing. It's like you flow with it. You don't fight the world. When there are, lots of, and as most of you are not first timers in the monastery. You live there, sometimes short term, sometimes long term. I know sometimes the image people might think when they first come to a monastery, oh, it's so peaceful. You sit and watch your breath all day long. The dishes just magically wash themselves and put themselves together. And lunch just appear out of nowhere. And cars get fixed. Nothing ever breaks in the monastery. The one that you see on TV or read in books. No one talks about all the maintenance and the building you have to do. But if you live in the monastery, yeah. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Being the senior monk here over the last 10 or 12 years actually brings me a lot of gratitude. You appreciate how much work it takes to build a monastery, but also how much work it takes to maintain one. And not just when the monks staying here, obviously the monastery is maintained, built by a large lay community. So it's a great opportunity to appreciate that. But also, we know that when it's time to do things, you do it with gratitude, with energy, with focus. Knowing that, yes, I've had the good pleasure of using this beautiful sala based on a lot of efforts of the people in the past. So going forward, our appreciation, I'm going to maintain this the best I can. I'm going to build new stuff. But also looking to keep things as simple as we can. But the point is, yes, there is a certain momentum, certain movement. But hopefully that's where the practice begins. That's where it continues. That we're flowing with things in stillness. Stillness flowing. We're not fighting, not complaining, not whinging that we have to do work from time to time. That there's stress in our life from time to time. I always remind people over and over again, the skills that you learn in meditation are the same skills that you need to live a peaceful, productive, and a happy life. And that skill is making peace. That skill is always looking at the wholesome things in life, seeing the world in a way that cultivates wholesome qualities. Qualities such as acceptance of the way things are, wholesome qualities such as forgiveness, not focusing on all the wrong things that people have done to us or in the situation, but learning to forgive, to move on. Accept that people do make mistakes from time to time, that we do annoy each other from time to time. Yes, even we monks here have disagreements. We believe in that from time to time. But we don't allow that to define a relationship. We can learn to move on from that, to work together as a community. And those are the skills that you need to live a peaceful life, to live a harmonious life, to live a happy life, not holding onto the past of who's wronged you, who's hurt you, who said mean things. But look with gratitude, all the people that have helped us. We'll look around in the world and focus on all the positive things that are happening. Because it's so easy these days, focus on what's wrong. Climate change, the flooding, pandemic, the war. Oh, there could be World War III, it could be annihilated soon. It goes on and on and on. But the world is always like this. It's always on the verge of collapse. It's on the verge of disaster. It's been like this the last, thousands of years. Even during the time of the Buddha, there was war, there was famine, there was violence. But he still became enlightened. He still taught peace and stillness and wisdom. So being inspired by that, looking at that, we continue walking the path of peace and stillness and compassion, knowing that there are still places to practice. There are still good teachers who are setting great examples for us to follow. There's still a community that we can come together and incline towards peace and stillness, incline towards compassion and wisdom. And that's the most important bit. Everything else is just white noise. So I remind people over and over again, what you focus on is your world. Do you want to focus on the pandemic? You focus on the violence, the injustice, the paranoia, conspiracy theory of all those terrible things that put into the vaccine, the robots that's controlling you, all sorts of things you see on the internet. You want to focus on that? You want to focus on peace, the generosity around you, how people are helping each other during the time of crisis, how people are coming together to help the flood victim, all the generous outpouring of support for the people in Ukraine. We focus on those generous acts. It uplifts the mind. It brightens the heart. We have more energy to do things that is necessary, to do things that can improve the world around us. So always knowing that what we focus on is our world. So we focus on the beautiful bits around us. Allow that brightens the mind, uplifts the heart, gives you energy to continue with the practice. So the next few days, it's an opportunity really just to relax, to flow with the events of the day, making peace in every moment. It is in stillness that we find happiness and contentment. So we can have the rough schedule. Like I said, if you had a long week, a rough week, you can sleep a bit more, see what works for your level of energy, body and mind. Speaking of that though, tomorrow is a full moon day. So being a full moon in a traditional monastery, we stay up late, like all night. But it's optional. People can experiment, stay up as late as they think is appropriate, and have a rest. Yeah, but it's something that, like I said, is always this practice of ours is always testing the boundaries, what we think is possible. It's always experimenting what we think is, possible with the mind. Yeah, and what does it feel like? Always being present. What does it feel like when you don't have enough sleep? What mental states arise? And being witness to those states as opposed to identifying with them. It's just unpleasant feeling arising. irritation arising. Instead of saying, I'm irritated, it's just like, oh yeah, oh, this is painful. No, you're not in pain, it's just pain arising, pain passing away. So it's more an experiment to see what we can do. So that is tomorrow, looking forward. And also, I think for the, there's a lot of people that are experienced meditator, but in any case, there is a guided meditation session between 2 and 2:40 in the afternoon. And after that, there is interviews, allowing people just to ask some questions in a group environment. You can also learn from each other's issues and problems or hindrances that might arise. I get this a lot. Everybody thinks they're the only one with the crazy mind. And you come to the group interview, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not the only one with the restless mind. Everybody here is having the same experiences. This allows us to not make a self out of our problems, but see that these are just normal problems that arises in the mind when it's not still. Doing that, so there is 4 sessions. Session number 1 is from 3 to 3:30. Number 2 is 3:30 to 4. Number 3 is 4 to 4:30. And then 4 is 4:30 to 5. And I thought I'd try something new to encourage people to come. I'm going to give you each a number, and you're going to come according to that number, okay? So you're going to try to remember what number you're in. Okay, so I'm going to go down. You go. Josh is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is, I'm making sure I have 4 men in each group, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. Good. 1, 2, 3. Okay, do you remember? Yeah. 4. 1, 2, 3. I can't see. 3. Chama. 4. Emma. 5. 1. 1. 2. This is a new one. 3. Jenny. 4. 1. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody else left? 1 and 2. 2. Back there, 3. Ariane, 3. Okay. Everybody's got a number? Starts at 3 to 3:30. That's the first one. It's a half an hour increments.
And where?
Up in where we eat, in the Dana Sala, the office. Yeah, office there. Yeah. So opportunities to meet and ask questions, or just to listen of the different issues that arise in people's mind. Yeah. So you say, oh, I'm experiencing weird things, or my legs is killing me. You realize, yeah, you know, a few other people are doing the same thing. So that way we also can be more effective in answering questions that are applicable to many, many people as well. Yeah. So that is the Q&A in the group setting. And then in the evening, there's also a Dhamma reflection starting at 8. But also there's an opportunity also to ask more questions that may arise during your practice as well. But so much of it, so much of the practice, it's not, people think, oh, between 8 and 9, that's where the highlight is, the Dhamma talk. You know, the highlight is between 4 in the morning and 8 o'clock. When you have the opportunity to be in silence, opportunity to watch the mind, to understand yourself better, to see what is it that we obsess over, to see how to deconstruct this solid sense of self that we think we are, to see these habitual things, habits that comes up of the mind. What boring, broken record things you say to yourself. You see it over and over again. Oh yeah, it's just a voice coming in my head saying these things. Interesting. Instead of identifying, instead of following it, instead of rejecting it, just watching. So much of the work is just, being mindful throughout the day. Just moving around with peace and stillness. Flowing with things, flowing with the day's events. When it's time to sit, you sit. Time to work, you work. Not the other way around. Sometimes people say, oh, Ajahn, can I work in the afternoon instead? I don't want to sit. What can I wake up earlier? I wake up later. So much of it is just flow along with the group. To disappear into the moment. Disappear into the situation. You work in the kitchen, just being part of a team, allowing things to flow harmoniously together. My favorite advice I always try to give people, don't make a problem out of it. Whatever situation we face, whatever issues we encounter, always find ways to make it work. Always find ways not to make a problem out of things. And so much of it is from acceptance, forgiveness, and letting go. Letting go into the present moment. Letting go into the momentum of the day. So those are the few words I have to say in this first day of the introduction about what's coming in the next few days. Like I said, on the guided meditation, we will explore a few different methods, either the mantra, mindfulness of breathing, a bit of metta, or body contemplation. We'll see what happens between 2 and 2:40. Anything else? And then tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday has the same schedule. Monday there won't be any work period. We'll just have another meeting between 9 and 9:40. A bit of metta meditation and farewell talk on Monday for everybody. Yeah, and that noble silence would end after the meal on Monday. Yeah? You do have to talk. Please move away from the central area and have a chat with your friends if it's necessary. Refrain from talking, walking to the sala and walking back. Because just sounds just travel. So it's an act of mindfulness, awareness, and it's a gift to everybody that you're going to move around in your accommodation, if you're sharing accommodation, as quietly as you can. Move into a room. Just flow into the room quietly. Sit down quietly. You leave without a trace. It's a beautiful simile. The Buddha said, the enlightened one, like a bird, travel through space, leaving nothing behind. So, with that, I offer that for your reflection tonight. So we'll bow together and then we continue sitting or have a rest.